Hi, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharb. I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments so that I may answer your questions. So I am here with a great topic as well, and I'm going to talk about the U visa. There have been some exciting developments with the U visa that I want to make sure you know about, and to make sure you have all the information about who qualifies. But I'm also here to answer your questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I will answer your questions. Thanks so much for the love, by the way. Now, what I would like to start off with is, what is the U visa, right? So the U visa is for victims of certain qualifying crimes. Hi there, Letitia. It's nice to see you. Thanks for joining me from TikTok. What you can do is go ahead and put your questions in the comments. Hi there, Cara, ever blessed. And if I didn't get to answer your question, Letitia, go ahead and put your question in the comments and I will answer it here. Now, the U visa, who qualifies? So victims of certain qualifying crimes. These crimes have to be, now there's no specific list, right? There are examples of types of crimes that could qualify you for the U visa, but it really is dependent on whether the crime caused you to cause physical or mental abuse. And if it did, if whatever crime that you are the victim of caused this, then you could qualify for the U visa. So examples of qualifying crimes could be assault, domestic violence, stalking, fraud. So it varies, right, from violent to not necessarily violent, but it did traumatize you. Now, the next thing is, how can you go about applying for the U visa and what are the benefits? So with the U visa, after I have determined that you qualify, I work with a law enforcement agency, because to confirm that you're the victim of a crime, it has to be reported to law enforcement, and law enforcement has to be able to attest to the fact that yes, you confirm that you were the victim of the crime, you were available to help them in the investigation, whether it's that you provided them information when you were first a victim, when they first took your statement, or that you continue to be available to assist them in the investigation. And so law enforcement does that through what's called a U certification, and that's what I help my clients to obtain. I work directly with the law enforcement agency, so law enforcement agencies could include the police. It could even include the prosecutor's office. And so I get in touch with them and I make a request to the office for that U cert. And then we gather other evidence, because the law enforcement certification is not the only thing that's required, but also other evidence that this crime did indeed result in your physical or mental abuse. And so that's going to vary based on your statement, based on the police report, based on maybe psychological assessment. And so we work together to put a good case together, and we submit that application to the USCIS. Now, what is exciting about this U visa is that now that the U visa, I'm going to give you a little backstory. The U visa has a 10-year wait list. And so what that means is that many people have to be, they're here, they're victims of crime, and they have to continue to wait on the U visas to be processed. And this could take 10 years. Meantime, they're trying to recover. They're trying to survive without status. And so in the past couple of months, the Biden administration have announced a new process where they are providing work permits and deferred action within months of submitting a proper application for the U visa. So that's major, a very exciting development. And so it will give many, or should give many more individuals incentive to apply for the for the U visa. Can a U.S. citizen child under 21 moving to the U.S. get his or her passport right away? So yes, so if they are a U.S. citizen, they would be able to apply for their passport as long as they are a U.S. citizen. I just asked you what can be done if the spouse is abusive. We're waiting on interview and work permit. Can I apply for adjustment of status for my children through VAWA as well? Latisha, I am so glad that you brought this up. It's a great question. And I find that some victims of abuse, that's one of the reasons they hold out on this, on applying for VAWA, is because they think their children wouldn't get through. If your children are under 21 and unmarried, they would be included in the VAWA application without you having to submit separate applications for them. And if this applies even if they're outside of the United States or whether they're in the United States. And in some cases, some of my clients, the children themselves have been victims of the spouse, and so they can apply on their own. But if they can't apply for VAWA on their own, they can certainly be included in the application as long as they're under 21 and unmarried. I got married recently. Is it that the vaccine is a must for my process to begin? So yes, so if you are going to adjust status through your spouse, or you're going to come to the United States on an immigrant visa through your spouse, you will have to apply for, you would have to do the medical. And to pass the medical, they're going to require a vaccine unless you qualify for an exception or an exemption. Great questions so far. Keep those questions coming because that's why I am here. I'm here to answer your U.S. immigration related questions, also while telling you about the U visa. So I've reached the point where I'm telling you the benefit of the U visa. The U visa has a 10-year wait list. But what happens is that if you've been the victim of a qualifying crime and you submit a proper application, they will allow you to get a work permit within months and not years of applying. And so that should give you incentive to first make sure that you qualify by scheduling a consultation and then actually applying if you qualify, because it is an additional benefit. Now there are other perks or benefits. I hate to say perks because as nobody wants to be the victim of a crime, but if you are in this situation, to make it easier, they also have included the ability for your children and your spouse to get the U visa along with you. In addition to that, if you're under 21 and unmarried, then you must also you can, if you're under 21, sorry, not if you're unmarried, you could be married, but if you're under 21, your parents could get the status. Your sibling who is under 18 and unmarried could get the U status, as well as your spouse and your children. So it allows not only you to get status, but your family and even your extended family to be able to get the U status, and they don't have to be the victims of a crime. And so my rule of thumb here is that if you have been the victim of a crime, schedule a consultation, and then I can evaluate what happened in your situation and determine whether you qualify for the U visa. If your child is born in the U.S. and leaves the country, how long can they remain out of the U.S. without it being an issue when they return to the U.S.? So as long as they're a U.S. citizen and they're not restricted in any way by a court order or some kind of family order or parental order, a U.S. citizen can stay outside of the United States for however long they want to. But what you want to make sure you do is make sure that your child has proper status in the country that they're in. So for example, in Jamaica, they are required to have a stamp of unconditional stay. So care ever blessed. The vaccine I'm talking is the COVID-19. Is it a must? Yes, it is. So Alicia Lemonade, hi there. Good night. Can a green card holder file for someone? Yes. So a green card holder can file for their spouse, their child who's under 21 and unmarried. Right now, Those are fast processes. Right now, they're 18 to 24 months, same as if you were the spouse of a U.S. citizen or the child of a U.S. citizen. That is not always the case, and so you should first make sure you qualify and that it will work, and then get on it very quickly. Because the reason that it is moving faster is because there's no wait list for an immigrant visa number right now, but that's going to change when more people apply and outnumber the number of applications available. Now, they can also apply for their son or daughter who is 21 and over, but that's a 5 to 6 year process. So you can expect a longer time. Thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. So now what does this application process look like? So once we've determined that you qualify for the U visa, we get right on it. So I work to get the U certification, work to get the evidence together for because the U cert, which is where I work with law enforcement, to complete that form. But there's also other evidence. You still have to show that this crime resulted in your physical or mental abuse. And so we work together to show that this crime, and that could be your statement, it could be other evidence. So if you ended up in the hospital, if you had pictures, if you went to a psychologist, or you could even complete an evaluation to show. Serenity, thanks so much for that. I appreciate it. Let's see. So Alicia, do the person have to visit the U.S. First? Because I'm thinking about doing it. So no, Alicia, this is where you should schedule a consultation, because if you're thinking about doing it, you want to make sure you do it right by making sure that you qualify, your spouse or your children qualify. But they don't have to visit the U.S. If they're outside of the U.S., they would go through consular processing. But I would want to evaluate your situation more, just to determine what is the best course of action. It depends on where they are, what's their immigration history too, because that's going to be very important. If they have an immigration history that could prohibit them from qualifying, that's something that you definitely want to make sure you have a game plan for. I-130 was filed for my child under 21 last year, July, when I was an LPR. Now I'm a citizen. How long will it take to be approved? So Thea Tappan, you should upgrade. So if you are now a U.S. citizen, then you should, and I don't know when you became a U.S. citizen. Tappan, you should schedule a consultation, because the way that things are going to go is going to depend on when you became a citizen, what was your child's age when you became a U.S. citizen, and on top of that, should you upgrade your application. So schedule that consultation. Alicia, okay, I'm going to make the appointment. Go ahead, and if you go to the link in my bio, it's going to take you to the website. You will see a contact form, or you will see you will see the phone number. The phone number is 24/7. A scheduling coordinator, when they're on duty, will be able to call you back and officially schedule and confirm your appointment on the spot. And so both of those ways are going to lead to the scheduling coordinator. So go ahead and go to the website and choose the most convenient way for you to get in touch with the firm. And now the scheduling coordinator is in charge of my calendar. So I just follow what they say. So they would be the best person. And if you do get an after hours receptionist, or you complete the contact form, you will get the scheduling coordinator on probably the next business day. And we are taking, even though it's a holiday season, so it's Thanksgiving, we are still taking appointments and taking calls for appointments. We wouldn't do appointments between now and Friday, but we are scheduling appointments, and you should do that before my schedule gets filled up. But the way to start is to go to the website, call, or fill out a contact form. All right, so these are all great questions. Thanks so much for your questions. I'm pretty much done with the topic about the U visa. What does the process look like? I talked about that. So once you submit the application with all the relevant evidence and it is bona fide, this is called the bona fide process, filing process. They will go ahead and approve you for deferred action and issue a work permit. So that's where it's an exciting change, because the Biden administration has implemented this where you don't have to wait for an approval on the U visa, or you don't have to wait for years and years to get on a wait list to get deferred action and work permit. They process you, they review the application within short order, and then tell you whether you could qualify for permission to work in the United States. So thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. Now, that is going to be it for me tonight. I am going to be back tomorrow to talk about another topic. So, and you can come with your questions, because the main reason that I'm here every night is to answer your immigration questions. On the side, I like to bring my topic to let you know, because there's information, a lot of information you may not know about, and I want to make sure that I get this information to you. If you would like personal legal advice though, because remember, the information I shared with you is general information, it is not personal legal advice. So if you want personal legal advice about how to approach your situation and representation through your process, that's where you should schedule a consultation. All right, thanks so much for the love. Thank you so much for your questions. Your questions have allowed me to provide you answers to questions that I'm pretty sure many of you have. And so I'm grateful for that, and for the ability to share this information with you. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.